Welcome back to the Matrix, and into the Matrix you are. The Matrix. How's it feel, Neo? And today we got ourselves a banger daily market news analysis. What is up? What is up? How's everyone feeling out of 10? Let me know down in the comments below. Make sure you guys are spamming that like button, hitting the share so other people can spam that like button. Let's get into it. As of the time of recording, Bitcoin currently sitting at $92,469. And we've had a nice bounce today. We got all the way down to 88,000. All right, this was pretty low. And I'm going to be honest, I did not think we were going to close at 92 like we did. That was surprising. I thought when we lost 90, that was it. We were probably going to test 85, 83. But we've had a nice bounce. And then, you know, when we look on the daily chart here, I've been talking a lot about the RSI. I've been talking a lot about being oversold. I've been talking a lot about fear and greed. And I've been talking about this is the point where we would expect a bounce. Now, I need to put in context for you guys, because mostly what I've been talking about the RSI being oversold, I've been talking about on the 4 hour or the 5 hour technically, and how we have a bullish divergence playing out on the 5 hour. At this point, we have flashed red on the daily RSI. Okay? Now, this could take a couple of days before we fully start to get momentum back. A couple, 2-3 days here. That wouldn't be weird. But if we go back and look throughout the history of, you know, let's circle these moments when we got this oversold. And what did that mean? Let's look at the last few moments here that we've gotten to these levels. And so I've circled him here, and let's investigate. What does that mean? Okay. Now, it doesn't mean that the bottom is in, but here's the last time we got this oversold. Was back here in February/March. And we had an immediate bounce off of this level. Okay. We did go on to put in a bullish divergence on the daily, and it took some time to play out. In fact, from the time that we got this oversold, it took us about 45 days to really work ourselves out of here. However, what immediately happened, what immediately transpired was a 17% move from Bitcoin. In fact, it might be even a little bit more. This is pretty, we got all kind of stuff on here. We need to clean this up a bit. So let's get rid of this. No, it was more than that, actually. So when we got this oversold, immediately we made a 21% move before making a new low. And the new low only ever, immediately it was 2%, but only ever was 5% before getting that bullish divergence like we were talking about and working our way out of here. Okay, so that's number one. Number two, and again, I need to preface is I've been talking a lot about bullish divergences on the 5 hour. It is way more powerful when you get oversold on the daily. Okay? Way more powerful when you get oversold on the daily. The time before that was July. And again, we made a new low in August. We made a new low in August. In fact, we went to go on 7% lower from that point. But again, not before a 31% move for Bitcoin. Okay? Let's get rid of this. Let's just clean all this up. Here's the other time with the war in Israel. This was actually August 16th, and we went lower 9/11. Okay? So we ended up going 1% lower, 1.8% lower. But again, we had an immediate bounce of 11.6%. And then the other one was the Luna collapse. We had 2 times where we got this oversold. One was May 2022. And again, what in the world? We actually went 31% lower. This was in the midst of like the markdown here, but we did not go lower before a 25% bounce. And then the Luna, that was the buying climax of the entire market, or the selling climax of the entire market. We had an immediate dead cat bounce of 45% and only ever went, how much lower do we ever go? 8% lower. Okay, so what am I saying right now? Am I saying that the bottom is in? No, I am not. And I'm not going to be full-on bullish until 112,000 is reclaimed. However, and or this downtrend is broken. However, this definitely is the point where we would expect a bounce from Bitcoin. And I still think the minimum move is going to be 103,000, right? So the lowest that we saw was 11%. That is 100,000. That was the lowest that we saw when we got this oversold on the RSI over the last 4 years. Okay? We have not been this oversold on the daily. Like that's an important distinction, because I know if you've been watching me, I've been talking a lot about being oversold, being oversold, being oversold. It is different being oversold on the 5 hour, 5 minute, 15 minute, 30 minute, 3 hour, 2 hour, 1 hour versus being oversold on the daily chart. Now, I think that there's a high probability that Bitcoin has topped. Unless Bitcoin reclaims the 112,000 and holds, I think there's a high probability that Bitcoin is topped. Still, though, we would expect a bounce from here. And I expect the altcoins, Ethereum, Solana, to outperform June 22nd, Israel versus Iran. No. I'm talking about, if you're asking me about Israel war, I'm talking about when it first started, 9/11/2023. So that was a very scary moment in crypto. And from my perspective, observing you guys, that was the most capitulation that I ever saw. Because we had just been at FTX collapse, and there was a lot of hope because we had broke this downtrend, and we started putting in higher highs and higher lows. But going from, this was from 31,000 back down to 25,000, that was one of the worst like psychological moments in crypto, even though the move really wasn't even that crazy. It was only a 20% drop, but it was just off of the news was just terrible. Your kids recognize you? No. My daughter, my 4-year-old, actually cried when she saw me. No joke. She actually literally cried. She said that she wasn't going to hug me until I grew my beard back. So she was very upset. But it is what it is. But there's 8% Bitcoin, not a bottom. Listen, I'm not saying that it's the bottom. What I'm saying is, once you get oversold like this on the daily, you can expect a bounce soon. And I don't even think like tomorrow, I'm saying in the next few days, we're going to start to see this momentum. Like we're already starting to point up a little bit. Now, we could easily, have another crash and like keep going down and being oversold more. Like that's possible for sure. But I think if we just hold flat here even for the next couple of days, we're going to start to see this coming like this. And then we're going to get across. And at that point, that's when you could start to anticipate. Like I said, the lowest move that we got when we got this oversold was 10%. But the average was about 20%. Okay. So even, like I said, 10% is about 100,000. 20% is about 112. So that's what I expect, somewhere in between there. And I'm not going to flip bullish until either Bitcoin reclaims this, breaks this downtrend, or reclaims 112, or both. Now, what I don't think, though, when I say that, I don't think that there's a world that we live in where we're just going to be, bearish for, 8, 9, 10 months, 12 months. I don't think so. This to me is more in line of like what our bear market's going to look like. We're probably going to go up here, touch 107, get rejected. We're probably going to make a new low down to 85, come back up to 101, and then make a new low again, probably down to the $80,000 range. That to me is the highest probability of how this bear market actually looks. That's what I think is going to happen. But the immediate move, we should expect 103. Shut up, you got no idea. I have a pretty damn good idea. I have a pretty damn good track record. I have a pretty damn good track record. And listen, here's the deal. If my track record, if I died tomorrow, and my track record is this, let it be known that this is my track record. I was bullish from $16,000 publicly all the way until $95,000. If that's my history, I am good with that. I am good with that. Alt season canceled. No. I think we're going to see an all-time high. I think we're going to see an all-time high too. Will we ever get an alt season? Some sorts. Some sorts. So the big thing, NVIDIA was kind of what started this rally. They, had better than expected earnings. The Fed CME, this is flipping. It's pretty much priced in at this point. 67% that there's not going to be any cuts in December. This is a stark correction. Just 1 month ago, they had it at 93% chance that there would be cuts in December. And again, I'm going to say these words, and I'm going to say it again because I know there's people that have never seen my face. What I am not saying to you is it matters if they cut, if they don't cut, if they stay the same. That does not matter. What matters is what the market expects and the certainty and clarity from the market. And what we are witnessing in every single market, not just Bitcoin, the market has changed its mind. The market does not have certainty. The market does not have clarity as to what the Fed is going to do. We scooting. Brother. ETH looks so weak. Why is Sol pumping? Because Sol's been getting crushed. You shaved your beard? Shocked, man of your word, though. I am a man of my word. Listen, I am accountable for my actions. I live and die by my sword. Whatever I say, I'm going to live and die by it. And I'm going to be accountable. And I know, listen, I strive for perfection in this game, and I know it's not possible. But when I'm wrong, I'm going to be accountable, and I'm going to hold myself accountable. And I'm going to say, I had this read was wrong. I've done that before. I'm sure I'll get it wrong again. But I'm going to be accountable all the way. All right, how confident are you we will get back to 112 soon? I am not that confident that we get back to 112 soon. I'm very confident that we're going to get to 103 soon. 112 to me is like, man, we're flirting with that was just a giant bear trap. Scars are just probabilities, not guarantees. That's right. 92K, we're so back. Listen, I'm not bullish anymore. I'm just expecting a bounce. I'm not saying we're back. I think the highest probability is that the Bitcoin top is already in. All the bears are right. But how long are they going to be right? They're never right as long as they think. Ski, how art thou, my brethren? I'm doing fantastic. Is there a high probability that Bitcoin has already topped? I think so, within like, but I don't think it's going to be like, see you in 2028. Like, I think that there's also a high probability that Bitcoin makes a new all-time high by late 2026. If not, like, okay, if we continue to follow this, we would make an all-time high by March. Like, that's how quickly it can turn around. Now, that's not my prediction. That's not my prediction. But I think that it's reasonable to think that we would make a new all-time high in 2026. I've been watching for almost 2 years, and I've been seeing your face. And barely seen your face. What's your prediction? My prediction is, here's my prediction. That this is what I think is, this is my base case. Okay, so what is my prediction? There's probabilities I'm going to give. There just needs to be context because people are going to be like, you said blah, blah, blah. Okay. So I always have a bull case, I always have a base case, and I have a bear case. All right? My base case is, right now, that we're going to bounce to 103. We'll probably get rejected there, come back to 85K. Have another bounce to maybe 95, 100K. Get rejected there and come back probably to 80K. That's going to take probably a month or two to accumulate, maybe 3. And then we're going to start the uptrend after that. And by mid-2026, Bitcoin will be at a new all-time high. And we'll see what that means with the alts. But that is my read on Bitcoin. That's my base case. That, to me, is the highest probability. Now, let me give you my bull case, which has a lower probability, probably a 15% chance at this point. My bull case is Bitcoin bounces from here, reclaims $112,000, holds, and then makes a new all-time high. And it was one of the biggest bear traps in history. That is on the board. I do not think that that is probable. It's on the board. It is not probable, though. It's more finding Brock Purdy in the 7th round. It's more finding Tom Brady in the 6th round. Okay? It can happen. It's not out of the realm of possibility, but I don't think it's probable at this point. And then my bear case, I also don't think is probable either, is that we probably would bounce to 103 still, get rejected, and then go down to 75, 65K and accumulate in there. That to me is the worst case scenario. Thoughts on Solnick? I just bought $1,200 worth of Solnick in the last 24 hours. I'm going to continue to buy Solnick. Every week, every month, I will be stacking my Solnick bag. People saw me make a video about the entire market, and they thought that that's my thoughts on Solnick. That's not my thoughts on Solnick. We are a small enough and tight enough knit community that it doesn't matter what the market conditions are. I'm going to keep buying Solnick every week, every month until we make a new all-time high. Browns win Super Bowl probable? No. How about the Browns have a winning season next year probable? What are you going to be dollar cost averaging into Bitcoin, Solana, Solnic, HBAR, Link, VeChain? Just calm down. It happens. 100%. 100%. All my homies know that Brock Purdy's only good because of Kyle Shanahan. We're close to the bottom. I would say a local bottom for sure. I don't know about the bottom, but definitely a local bottom. Very, very close. Bitcoin dominance target. High 40s. Where do you think it bottoms? 85. Keep DCAing. Check it out. Caspa did a 30x when everything was dead in 2023. Pepe did a 50x when everything was dead in 2023. I am not of the opinion that we need to wait 4 years. I am buying every week, every month, period. The next few months, it's possible. I don't think it's probable in the next few months. Are you buying or shorting? For trades, I'll be looking to short, especially once we get into the hundreds. Ski, what up, bro? I've been rocking with you since the last bear market. You don't have to explain yourself, bro. I appreciate that. That's very possible, Orlando. Like, the one confusing thing about this entire thing that wrong-footed me is Bitcoin dominance. Like, this is so weak. This was way too strong for way too long. And now it's weak. So, like, that's in the cards. That when Bitcoin distributes, we have some sort of crazy run. We'll see. I'm not calling for it. But this has been the confusing thing about this market that, you know, was a misread for me. A lot of what I was examining was Bitcoin dominance. And this has been the most confusing part because it's so weak. All that's happened is we've topped and had a dead cat bounce, retraced, and now are rolling back over with real weakness. So this is the thing that wrong-footed me. If institutions are involved, it's more charts. It's harder to chart retail behavior than it is institutions. So I don't agree with that. Richard D. Wyckoff made this method 100 years ago. And the reason he made the method was to chart institutions. So no, I do not agree with your sentiment. If anything, it's going to become easier to chart. We just need to see what is there exactly. You know, what are they going to do? So no, I disagree with that statement. I strongly disagree. What are your short-term and long-term predictions? I don't have any short-term predictions on Solnic. Only long-term. This bull market or the next. It's all the same. I'm going to keep buying every single week, every single month. Here's what happened. Listen, I gave a bearish prediction on Bitcoin, and people capitulated. That's fine. I will not be doing that. Nor do I think the entire market needs to be in a bull run for Solnic to be in a bull run. It's small enough to where it doesn't need that. Now, if we're at $100 million market cap, then sure. Now we're definitely tied with the rest of the market. But where we're at right now, no. That is not. That is not the case. Alt's getting a bear trap. It could be. 75, 76. Joe, I think that's a reasonable bottom call, to be honest. That's in between my bear case and my medium case. What's your plan to get Solnic to the masses? There's no better advertisement than charts. I'm going to keep buying. I'm going to keep talking about it. I'm going to keep developing. The documentary is going to be finished in spring of 2026. The swap app will be available in 2026. The staking or the lending protocol is going to be in 2026. Is the roadmap on schedule? The roadmap is not on schedule. No, I am behind. Because listen, here's the deal. Development takes long. It takes a long time. And I would rather bring a good product to you than be on time and bring a bad product. And I'm okay with that. I'm okay with being late if it's correct. The reverse is being on time and it's not correct. If I have to make that choice, I would prefer to be on time and correct. But if I have to choose one, I'm going to be correct and late. We able to stake Solnic? Yes, but we are updating the Oracle right now, so you need to wait a couple of days. But yes, Solnic staking is already available. You can earn yield on your staking right now. At no point in time am I ever going to stop developing, stop buying, stop talking about Solnic. It's not going to happen. Not now, not next month, not next year, not 10 years from now, not 20 years from now. As long as I am living and breathing, that train will keep rolling. How much? How much what? Thanks for sharing your knowledge. No problem. That's what I'm here for. Listen, guys, I live and die by my track record. I stand by my track record. Am I perfect? No, I am not. But here is my track record. I have been bullish publicly. I was bearish in 2021 publicly. I was bullish in November of 2022 publicly at $16,000. And if my track record is being bullish in 2020 or bearish in 2021, bullish in 2022, all the way to $95,000, then so be it. I'm not going to get everything perfect. I'm going to make mistakes. There's been a couple of times where I was wrong. There's going to be a few more times where I'm wrong. But I've been in this space a long time. and I will put my track record against anybody, and I will be accountable when I'm wrong. I'm not going to sit here and be like, oh, I had this right because blah, 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 and do revisionist history or any of that stuff. It's not going to happen. If I'm wrong, if I have the wrong read, I'm going to be accountable like I have, like I shaved my beard. This is me conceding defeat, that I was wrong, incorrect. I don't think you need to justify yourself. I'm not justifying myself, but I appreciate that. Do you hold spot, plays, futures, or mix? I do a mix, but mostly spot. 90% of my portfolio is spot. Thank you for the $9.99 donation, brother. Appreciate you.
But the cream will rise to the top. Oh, yeah.
Lemon character lagging out loud. I don't know what you're saying, bro. How much yield is on the staking? 30% for 2 years. Wyckoff analysis on silver. I sure can. Listen, I'll put it out. Listen, we're updating the Oracle right now, so I'm not even going to put out the website. But I will put it out when the Oracle is updated. All right. Let's do Wyckoff on... How can the institutions dump the market, then claim uncertainty? Because that's what they do. Let's talk about silver. But here is the playbook from, if you want to replace the word institutions with apex predator, right? If you replace apex predator, or if you replace institutions with apex predator, because it's the same entity, it kind of gives you a clearer picture. And not only in equities market, but in everything. Like, what is the playbook? Is create a problem that does not exist and then sell you the solution. Right? So, like, what was the fundamental thing that took place just this time was Binance got their stuff depegged. And all of the oracles that was using Binance's peg could not buy or sell. And so everybody got liquidated. That's not a normal thing in crypto. That's not a normal thing in any market. Right? And I imagine there's going to be, like, you know, the 2, 3, you know, whatever, years from now, there's going to be some sort of fix or whatever. There's going to be some sort of laws that are passed, whatever the case may be. Create a problem that does not exist and then sell you the solution. That is the most... That happens again and again and again and again. And everything. For thousands of years. Not just crypto. That's everything. Just came in. Are we cooked? No. Doge ETF next week. Thoughts? We'll see if it does anything. If your bear case happens, what will happen to alts? It's going to be case by case. I predict meme season soon. People revert to meme coins in times of boredom. That's a good take. Chances we get 2021 like alt season in 24 months. I don't think that they're ever going to be the same. Are altcoins going to outperform Bitcoin? Yes, they will. But, like, is it going to be the same? I don't think so. It's going to be different. It'll be the same but different. So is there going to be a season where altcoins outperform Bitcoin? Yes. How different? Okay. The one thing that I've learned from this cycle that was a soft rule for me, but is more of a hard rule for me at this point and will be moving forward. Okay. Now, it's going to sound like I'm going in a roundabout circle, but I promise I'm answering your question. Okay. The one thing that I learned that I knew to be the case, but I didn't put as much emphasis on it, was that Bitcoin should be the biggest portion of your portfolio. And it was mine, and it is mine. However, going forward, like, that's what I'm going to be accumulating the most, for sure. And I'm not going to be spread out crazy thin. I'm probably only going to accumulate like 7 different coins. Sup. When is this imaginary alt season going to come, Ski? We had one of sorts. Bull case, highest probability. Ski right, but always early. That is true. My man's been following me long enough. This is a weakness of mine. Just transparently. Okay? And I'm telling you now, if it happens again, I am still going to say that I was wrong. So, my man's been following me a long time, if he's saying that. Here's my biggest weakness. Straight up. Transparently, if I can be human with you for a minute. My biggest weakness is I will see moves painfully in advance. And I literally mean painfully. And then I will move off of them. And then they happen. That is my biggest weakness. It's happened to me. I don't know how many times that's happened to me. I will see a move. I'll chart out a move. And then I move off of it. So if that happens again, by the way, I'm not going to take credit. I'm not going to be like, we charted this out. I'm going to say I was an idiot for charting it out and then moving off of it. That's what I'm going to say. Elliott Trader Dorian. I sure do. Alt season comes when Powell gets a boot. Probably, and it's probably going to be the same time everyone starts getting stimulus checks. Why H-bar your top play? Please break down. I just love the technology and also the tokenomics on it as well. H-bar is the coin that made me, if you've watched me for any amount of time, I am like hypersensitive to inflation. Like almost to a ridiculous level, to be honest with you. I am hypersensitive of inflation. I really am. And H-bar is the coin that made me this way. Because in the 2022 bear market, which, I mean, the price was still good. Like, it was, average price of 6-7 cents. It's still up from that price now. So relatively, it's performed really well. But when we look at the market cap, it made a full-on parabolic run. You know what I mean? So basically, HBAR is the coin that, wow, look at that, made me hypersensitive to inflation. Because in the 2022 bear market, they front-loaded their supply delusion. So there's no new supply that's created. There wasn't new HBAR tokens that were created. What happened was they had scheduled on the back end inflation, but to survive the 2022 bear market, they front loaded that inflation and dumped it then. Now, that was a bad thing short term, and the price would have went much higher had they had not done that. So the price only went to 34 cents. But look at the market cap. The market cap made a new all-time high compared to 2021. So had they have not done that, the price probably was like realistically 80 something cents, 88 cents, somewhere in there. That was the real price of HBAR. Now, bring it full circle back to the question. Because the delusion is already done, the supply is mostly already circulating. So you're not fighting the uphill battle of inflation anymore. Okay, so that's one of the main reasons as far as tokenomics goes. We're not going to be fighting against inflation anymore. This is going to be effectively deflationary. But the sharding technology is really good. I just like this. It's a good project. It's a good, solid project. It's a Solana competitor, but more with institutions, right? People are always saying about Solana, which I like Solana too. People are saying about Solana is like there's not real institutions developing on it. It's like HBAR is the one that like this is the real, this is the real institutional. Like look at all this. Dell, Google, IBM, like this is real LG, like institutional player here. And things are already being built on it right now, currently, presently. And they're super fast, they're super cheap. So that's why I'm bullish on HBAR. But HBAR, admittedly, is the reason I am so hyper-focused on inflation, because I got burned by them, because I didn't see it coming. Are you getting out of Dynex? I'm not getting out of any of my stuff. I still believe in Dynex. It's just like, what am I going to be accumulating? By the way, Dynex, I haven't looked at them. See, you're making me want to buy Dynex, bro. You're making me want to add an eighth one. You could, Flux is fine. Listen, for sure, I'm keeping my coins under 10. You might talk, my God, bro. I might add Dynex to this list. Damn it, bro. Dang it. Hard cap at 10. I don't care. Yeah, I like this. I like this chart here. This is a good setup. This could be just chopping like this for a while, for sure. But this has broken the downtrend. Could HBAR make a new low bear market floor? It's possible. But it's performed pretty well. I still believe I still have high convictions in Dynex. I still have high convictions in Flux as well. But I'm keeping my portfolio, what I'm going to be adding if we're really done, it's going to be less than 10 coins, and 70% of that's going to be Bitcoin. That's how my portfolio is going to be positioned. I'm going to be buying $1,000 worth of Solnic plus 20% of all of I make as well. So that's kind of a different thing, really. HBAR's tech is far better than Solana's. I like both of them, but I would agree. Like, I think it's more favorable for institutions to actually build on it. I also like Solana. I'm not going to say that Solana's technology is bad because I'm developing on Solana as well, and I know how easy from idea to product Solana's blockchain is. Like, if you know C++ coding, if you know Rust, if you know Java, if you know any of that stuff, like, you can just develop on Solana. It's very, very seamless, where HBAR is not that way as far as developing new products. Is Chia going to zero? I haven't been asked about Chia in a long time. Chia keeps making new lows. I don't think it's going to go to zero, but man, they've had a lot of inflation too. Like, I'm surprised the bigger move hasn't happened with them. Do you hold quant? I hold quant. A lot of my stuff is just going to be holding. Like, I'm just telling you what I'm going to be accumulating. So I hold more coins than this, but like what I'm going to be accumulating, if the worst case scenario is true, that's what I'm going to be accumulating. So I'm still going to hold like quant. I'm still going to hold XRP. I'm still going to hold these different coins, but I'm not going to buy or sell them until we get to certain levels. I need to make Bitcoin my biggest bag. It's time I learned. Yeah, I think like the only coin that realistically in the top 100 that outperformed Bitcoin was XRP. But it took 5 years to do that. But outside of that, like, Bitcoin's been the highest performer. So I'm not a maxi. No inflation on quant. Yeah, quant's a solid play for sure. Like, there's a lot of coins that I love, but I just want to focus my bandwidth. VeChain, yeah, I'm going to be buying VeChain. No, they're not shit coins now and forever. Solana is on what I'll be accumulating in the bear market. What's next for Bitcoin? I think we get a bounce to 103. Polygon. I think Polygon's a solid play. Polygon, I'm kind of biased towards Polygon too. Polygon was one of my first. Are you selling your Solnic? I'm not selling. I just bought $1,200 worth of Solnic. No, I am buying Solnic every single week. Every single week, every single month, I will be buying Solnic every week, every month. I'm going to keep doing that until we make new all-time highs. I'm buying $1,000 worth of Solnic every month plus 20% of all I earn. I'll be doing that every month until we make a new all-time high. Because you stopped mentioning XYO, LCX, Rose. All those projects are fine. I still hold them. I'm just telling you what I'm going to be buying. Do you believe in the utility side of crypto? That's a complicated question. It shouldn't be. How do I answer this? Okay. I believe in the idea of utility of crypto. The reality is 90% of utility does not actually have utility. Right? And so like, I'm not advocating people go and buy meme coins, but at least meme coins are honest about what they're doing. You know what I mean? At least meme coins have good tokenomics. Like, what does Fart Coin do that it went to $1 billion? I don't know. I'm so skeptical of so much utility coins that don't actually have utility. And I think that's a lot of it. Now, I do think that there's... Man, this is not a black and white answer. This is a very nuanced answer. This is a very nuanced question, right? I do think that there's real projects that are doing real things that are really going to change the world. And I think that over the long term, those projects are going to outperform everything because they're going to be here, 10, 20 years from now. But I also think that there's a lot of bad actors that claim to be utility that are not. No, not like Solnic. Solnic has 100% of the circulating supply. Solnic has better tokenomics than 99% of crypto, period. Not like Solnic. Solnic has a real product. Staking. You can earn 30% yield. That's a real product. What happened to the Solnic bet? The 95... Listen, here's the deal. The VeChain bet, the Solnic bet, was an arbitrary number. It was until the bull market. People did not like that answer. So I gave a clear parameters to when the bull market was over. It was 95K. There's no use for it. Okay, bro. All right. What is the use of Fartcoin? So Fartcoin went to $1 billion. What is being developed right now, presently, is a lending protocol. What is being developed presently right now is a borrowing protocol that will not be using just Solnic. It'll be using everything. I did not promise a straight line. No use for that either? Okay. What's the use of PayPal then? What's the use of Wells Fargo? What's the use of Chase? What's the use of crypto? If there's no use in lending and borrowing and swapping. What's the use of any money? If you're just going to be a hater, just go somewhere else, bro. Like, if you have constructive criticism, fine, I'm all here for it. But if you're just going to be silly, then go somewhere else. I'm not here for that. Do you know what whale sold? I don't. And I don't care. I bought $1,200 worth, and I'll be buying every single week, every single month. Thank you for the $4.99, Nick.
But the cream will rise to the top, oh yeah.
All right. Somebody ban this FX official guy. Oh, he says, I'm not hating. I'm just fighting my own bag. Like, what are you saying then, bro? Articulate clearly what you're saying. Because right now you're just fighting your own bag. Yes, I lost all of my bets. That is why I shaved my beard and I cut my hair. I need to fix my camera. Hold on. All right. Thoughts on ADA? I like it. ADA is solid. If you measure the Bitcoin January drop to the one, it's the exact same distance. Look at this. Is this what you're talking about right here? Same height. I agree. Like, listen, if it comes to it, and I moved off of a correct prediction, I want you all to just roast me for that. I will not be claiming credit for that. I would love for that to be the case. And I want you guys to roast me ferociously. Because I have done this, I don't know how many times, where I predict the correct move and then I move off of the move. I might buy some tomorrow. I want you guys to roast me ferociously. All right. Get this dude out of here, bro. Hold up. Let me block that dude. Alright, cool. Sorry, I had to block somebody on TikTok. Are we cooked? I don't think so. I don't think so. Talk about DeFi in the future, which is better DeFi protocol. I'm kind of biased, but I mean, I think Radium's pretty good right now. There's so many good DeFi protocols. Like, there's so much to do in DeFi. A few weeks before a reversal. Do you think it's a good time to buy on ETH and spot? If ETH was good at $4,800, it's good now. Okay? Don't put your life savings into it. Invest what you can afford to just hold on to for 3 years. But if you believe in Ethereum at $4,800, like, why don't you believe in it now? What is different about Ethereum? Other than Vitalik fudding his own bag. Man, we're at... That's crazy. Ethereum has a decent bit of support here, too. Like, I thought it was going to get caught by this. But even so, like, I would be shocked if Ethereum gets under $2,200. Do you have a video on how to stake Solnic? I do, but I'm not going to tell you right now because we're updating the Oracle. So the website is being updated right now. But I will tell you how to do it after that's done. So what are you talking about? 20%? 30% risk here? Likely. Now, I would like to see this break a downtrend here. ETH hitting 10K the next run. I think that that's very plausible. Depends on how low we go. So let's say I know I'm from the future. I know that the bottom is $2,100. $9,500 is probably where we go. Bitcoin will be in its enemy year. Maybe. I'll believe anything at this point. You have showed us how to fish. It doesn't matter what happens next. Listen, guys, if it sounds like I am snippy today, I am. It's not because of the market, though. Listen, my daughter was very sick last night, and she was puking all night, and she kept me up all night. So, I probably only slept like 2 or 3 hours last night. Do you think a million VeChain is life-changing? I think a million VeChain is life-changing. Yeah, so listen, to my man, Astrobits, everyone in here, if I'm being snippy, guys, I don't care about the market. I don't value even my track record. Like, I'm good. I am secure in what I do. I know that I'm going to get stuff wrong. It sucks when things go down. It sucks if I am wrong or when I'm wrong. But realistically, I only got like 2 hours of sleep. So. But I just want to make sure I came on here and brought you guys value even in the worst of times again. Because that's what I always do. I always will show up. You're wrong about being wrong. I hope so. I hope you guys can just roast me. What are we charting? I gave my opinions on Bitcoin. Are you bullish on 2026, bro? Yeah. I don't think we're cooked for 3 years. Like, this is my worst case right here. The bear market is going to look a lot like April over here. Can you show Bitcoin? Here's Bitcoin. And hold and stay above 112. If we hold and stay above, this is just a big bear trap. He's ignoring YouTube. Cap, bro. It's only cooked with A5 Wagyu. I bought $1,200 worth of Solnick in the last 24 hours. I'm going to continue to buy every single week, every single month. Everything that I said that we're going to do, we're still going to do. Period. Period. As long as I have blood pumping through my veins, at no point in time am I ever going to stop buying Solnick, talking about Solnick, developing Solnick, making it better. I am certain I will make mistakes. I am certain I will do things that people don't like. But I'm constantly going to be process-based, system-based, and continue to be process-based and system-based and make it better and better and better. Bro, if you could choose 3 to pick for bull, which would you choose? Honest answer. What are you saying? Tim's my boy. Check Bitcoin Dominance. Bitcoin Dominance is like, that's the confusing part about this. It's like, this is so weak. This is a rejection for sure. You know what I mean? Is Bitcoin weak? I would say, yeah. Like, I think Bitcoin's probably topped. I would listen, I want you guys to just roast me if I had the correct prediction originally and I moved off of it too early. I've done that. I don't know how many times I've done that. Like, it's annoying that I do that. And it's a weakness of mine. Listen, I'll probably do it again. I'll probably chart out the exact damn move and then move off of it. I don't know why I do that, but I want you guys to roast me, and I don't want anyone to give me my flowers if it happens. I want you to be like, you said it, but then you moved off, so it doesn't count. That's what I want you guys to say. What was the bet you lost and you had to shave your beard? Bitcoin would not daily body close below 95K. Ryan says, when Solnick hits $1, I'll take you and 5 people of your choice on a cruise. How low can Sol get? 85. Yes, that is what it means. Hulk smash. Probably the high 40s, Jamie, for Bitcoin Dominance. What prediction did you move off of? What prediction did I move off of? I don't even know, guys. I'm too tired. I'm tired, boss. I guess this. I'm tired, boss. I'm pretty tired. I think I'll go home now. I don't see how you get 5 cents. It'd be multiple runs. 3 legs get you to 589. Oh, yeah. You're right. CME gap at 92K. That's correct. Okay. Listen, I'm exhausted, guys. That's right. Elevate your third eye. 90, I think probably 92K got filled. Accumulate, and it'd be a big bear trap. Yes, that was the Bitcoin dominance is cooked. That was the prediction. Sonic's going to do more than retrace. I am going to buy every single week, every single month. Period. Stock market looks rough. I agree. CNN wording about Bitcoin. Yeah, literally the most bullish thing you can imagine. Jamie, the most bullish thing you can imagine. CNN warning about Bitcoin going to crash. Everyone asks how's Sonic. No one asks how's Ski. Ski is tired. I'm tired, boss. But not of crypto, just generally, literally, physically tired today. But I'm good. I'm better than I deserve to be. I've had all kind of trials and tribulations through my life. I grew up extremely poor. And I'm very grateful for my life today. I've worked extremely hard. And I've gotten lucky in some senses, and I've just grinded my face to a pulp in others. But I have nothing but gratitude for my life. I have nothing but gratitude for this thing that I'm doing, and I have nothing but gratitude for all of you guys, because you guys make this possible for me. And I love doing this, and I hope to continue to bring as much value to each and every one of you guys that I possibly can, because I have so much gratitude. I am so thankful for each and every one of you guys. And I know that I can't be perfect, and I know that I will get things wrong, but I vow to just continue to work on my craft and to continue to bring as much value as I can and teach as much as I can and help as many people as I can. Sleep is the cousin of death. Yeah. Well, that's too damn bad. What's the Sonic plan? I bought $1,200 in the last 24 hours. I'm going to keep doing that. The plan is to manufacture the next wave. So right now we're updating, as far as like actual updates, we're still waiting for the Google Wallet. We're updating the staking website right now, and we're going to be filming the documentary in spring of 2026. And we're going to continue to develop the apps that we've talked about, including the lending protocol, the borrowing protocol, the swapping protocol, the stable coins. All the things that we've talked about are still happening. if you guys know anything about me, is that I will never stop and I will never quit. Subski bear market. This market is gut wrenching. I agree, brother. That's what they say. Like, that's what they say. You know, they're not going to let us all win, right? And I agree to that statement. And this is the cost. It's the most gut-wrenching thing. But you just got to keep on. You just got to keep being better, process-based, system-based. Keep growing, keep learning, keep stacking, keep DCAing. And it is gut-wrenching. But that's the cost. Like, everyone wants financial freedom. Everyone wants 10Xs, 20Xs, 100Xs. But that's the cost. That is the price to pay. There is no free lunch. I'm going to buy some Solnic tomorrow, maybe 1K. Let's go. Are there minimum requirements for Solnic staking? No, there is not. I think I've done it with, like, for a test, I think I've done like 10 Solnic. You can do it with anything. And there's different lockup periods. So there's 90 days, there's 180 days, there is 360 days, and then there is 720 days. The longer you lock it up, the more reward you get. All right, guys, I'm pretty tired. I'm tired, boss. No, that's so for now, House. You'll be all right. You go and buy your farm. If I can do it, you can do it. I'm no better than you. I promise you, I assure you. If I can do it, you can do it. And I believe in you. It's just a small setback for a major come up. Don't give up hope. That's what they want you to do. They want you to capitulate. They want you to give up hope. Never give up hope. Never. In reality, here's the truth. I'll leave you guys with this. Have you ever heard of the Palladio's principle? I don't even think I'm saying it right. The Palladio's principle is the 80-20 rule. Okay? This is a universal law. Okay? There's a good book written entirely how to put your life around this principle. It's called the 4-Hour Work Week. The 4-Hour Work Week tells you how to, maximize the 80-20 rule, basically. But the 80-20 rule states, it's a law. This is true in everything. The more you look for it, the more you will find it. But it states that 80% of everything equals 20% of everything. And 20% of everything equals 80% of everything. Okay? Now, why am I telling you this? And what are some examples? So a couple of examples just so you understand what I'm talking about. And it could be less. It could be 99-1, but it's at least 80-20. Example. 80% of all of the people on Earth own 20% of all of the wealth. 20% of all the people on Earth own 80% of all the wealth. That's one example, but there's so much examples. If I go to the gym, 80% of my gains are going to be made by bench, squat, deadlift. Right? 80-20. It's a principle law. So why am I telling you this in regards to crypto? Why am I telling you this in regards to not capitulating? Here's why. In this game, a lot of it's going to be suffering. A lot of it's going to be pain. A lot of it's going to be grueling. And in reality, all of your success, all of your gains are going to be gotten by 20% of the time. 20% of your gains are going to be, it's going to outweigh 80% of all of the days. It's going to outweigh 80% of all of the time, 80% of all of your investments. You're going to get all of that with the smallest fraction. But that's all that's needed. No clue. Who has no clue? All right, go. Is this Solnic on Coinbase? It's on Coinbase Wallet, not on Coinbase. All right, guys. That is going to be it for this time. I appreciate each and every one of you guys. Make sure you guys like, subscribe, follow me on TikTok, YouTube, Instagram, Twitter, Twitch. I will never message you first. Those are scammers. I'm not going to message you and ask you how's your trading going, any of that stuff. The scammers have probably died down now, which is good. But all right, guys. I'll be live. Try to be live about 4:30 tomorrow, Central Time, somewhere in that time frame. So, but I'll put it out at least an hour before I go live on Twitter. So make sure you guys follow me there. I'm at Gajewski, Gajewskey, on X. So I usually will put out what I'm doing over there. And, you know, make sure you follow me everywhere. All right. Peace, love, prosperity. God first. God bless. I'm out.